We are back
and action.
Greetings internet, it's Katie.
So if I haven't already made this pretty clear, I now have my own house and my own room. I'm not living in a sorority house anymore, so this is my room. I'm going to do a room tour very, very soon. This room is probably my favorite room I've ever had in my entire life because I finally have a room that is my favorite color, which is purple, but not like any purple. It's like a purple gray, like a dark purple, like a very moody purple. Purple is actually, fun fact, a color that stimulates creativity, like subconsciously stimulates your creativity. Today's video is all about one-night stands and relationships and love. I know this is a huge shock to you guys. Yes, I do make a lot of videos about boys on my channel. Is there anything wrong with that? Not really, in my opinion, but a lot of people find things to be wrong with that because they think I'm insecure and they think that all I'm obsessed with is boys and blah, blah, blah. But hey, first of all, I think anything that you think about on a constant basis, even if it's, you know, intentional or not, should be talked about. Even if it's not something like extremely glamorous, like being an independent woman and not needing a man, which is such a glamorous idea. Like, I love that idea. It is a really big thing that is constantly on our minds. Hence the thousands of messages I have on Tumblr from you guys asking about boys and girls and your love life and things like that. Another note, if I ever say boys in this video, please know that you could always substitute girls because all love is love. I completely agree with that as well. So anyway, let's just all be very accepting of each other in this video in the comment section and just let me get on my soapbox for a little bit. Recently, I made a blog post called Almost Lovers. I will cite that down below. In my opinion, it is one of my best blog posts I think I've ever written because it was so spur of the moment. I just randomly had this thought about all of my failed romances. And I wouldn't even say they were failed relationships because it really wasn't. All of them were kind of the almost love. Like, I've never been in love, so it was on the brink of love, but then something just went wrong. So I will call these things almost lovers and almost love because it was almost love. It wasn't quite, but it was almost. So I will be very brutally honest. I've always been extremely pessimistic and, quite frankly, very bitchy about my almost loves in the past. I have literally always been like, fuck you to every guy that has ever wronged me. I'm sorry for like the profanity in this video. Wow, I guess this just really gets me going or something, but I've always been very bitter about every near romance I've ever had because I consider it a waste of time. I'm like, darn it, like I wish this worked out, but it didn't, so I'm gonna just like sulk about it and be pissed about it because I could have done something better. It could have been a better use of my time. And that has been my mentality for the entirety of my life. So 21 years I've just gone on and on and on and mindlessly went from one boy to the next in my case because I like boys. I feel like recently I have matured in the sense that now I see things so differently. And I'm not even just saying this, like I truly do believe this. I've always had this like blind optimism that like I will eventually find love, which is honestly the best thing I could possibly have. Because despite the fact that I've gotten my heart shattered to a million pieces by all these malicious men, they aren't malicious, I just see that's my bitterness talking, but despite the fact that I've had my heart broken, I've always stayed optimistic and I've gone just so happily and easily into every new romance, every new relationship. I'm never the type to be like afraid to go on a date or afraid to be in a relationship, which isn't always the case, I will add. Like, some people are, you know, nervous and scared about that type of thing, which is so normal because they've had their heart broken. But I'm the kind of person that's like so blindly optimistic. Honestly, sometimes I do see it as a downfall, as my like fatal flaw, the fact that I'm so optimistic and I always go into every relationship or every new boy that texts me and think, oh, this could be the one. I honestly have envied the people who are more cautious about starting new romances, like that are a little bit more like, we'll see how this goes. The second a boy texts me, I think, wow, like this could be the story of how we met and like when we're with our kids, my bridesmaids are gonna wear red and blah, 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 blah. Like, I literally imagine my future wedding the first text a boy sends to me, which is actually a little bit psychotic. And I hope the boys that I will futurely be texting will not watch this video because they'll be like, oh my god, psycho. Anyway, that is how I've always been. And for the longest time, I've really beat myself up about it. But recently, I was actually in the car at a red light. It's so weird, like these thoughts just like randomly plague me. And I realized that like honestly it takes a lot of strength to be like that. Not like giving myself a compliment or anything. I guess I am, yeah, pat on the back for me because it takes a lot of strength to be soft when the world is hard to you. When the world has treated you like shit, it's so easy to completely close yourself off, be like, okay, that was horrible, never again, like never again. But it takes a lot of strength to be that blind, optimistic person who might be seen as kind of crazy by most boys. Like, you know, can you imagine if a boy texted you and you're just like, hi, like, blah, 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 like, imagining our future wedding, Like, on that note, there's also nothing wrong having a relationship end and not being heartbroken about it and not being sad that, you know, your one night stand was just a one night stand. In the past, I have felt bad that I haven't been more self-conscious of the fact that I've had a lot of experiences with boys that have only been one time, and I've only been on one date and not a second date, or one sleeping over and then never again. And I feel like that has been another fatal flaw of mine, just putting myself down for being human and for experiencing human things like one night stands. Do not be self-conscious, or do not be hard on yourself for failed romance. Romance in general is either a lesson or it's love. One or the other, like either way. And you can argue that it's none of the above and that it's something completely different, but I'm gonna be like, no, I disagree with you, girlfriend, because it's either a lesson, you either learn something, you either learn this guy's a jerk, you learn a new song, you learn how to play the guitar, you learn that you like this new type of food or this new restaurant, or you learn that you like this way of being kissed versus this way of being kissed. You learn something. Every experience you have, good or bad, it's a lesson or it's love. Either way, and like a love could lead to a lesson. It's all interlinked. The time of feeling sorry for yourself has come and gone, okay? It was okay when we were like 15 to be angsty and sad and in love and listening to Avril Lavigne when we got dumped, type of thing. That time period is in the past, and now it's time for us to put our big girl pants on and look at it not as a failure, but as a lesson. I think 2017 for me is a year of apologies to myself for treating myself like shit the past few years, for beating myself up for every romance that didn't work out and for every time I did something that like I wish I didn't in any sense, sexually or anything. There's this almost very tangible feeling you get when you know that like someone's getting tired of you, or like a boy is like done with you. Okay, fine, like at least I tried type of feeling. But like for me, I'd always turn that into being like, well, what did I do wrong? Like, what is wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And I think that this year I've decided to turn a new leaf and realize that like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, it's just very normal and natural to have heartbreak. And instead of just looking at it in a negative, completely negative light, like you can look at it and be like, well, I learned something. It takes a lot of maturity, I feel like, to look at it in that way. There's this theory, oh my God, I forget what it's called, but I was watching this like video on YouTube. It's like like if you convince yourself something enough times, like if you beat it into your head that that's how like you want to live, it'll eventually happen. I forget what it's called. If you convince yourself that you want something and that you like want to feel a certain way and live a certain way, if you think about it enough times a day, if it means like writing a sticky note or like putting it on your mirror, do whatever you have to do to make it a reality. And I think that it'll just happen. I made this entire video on confidence a few years ago. It was like one of the best videos I feel like I've ever made. And I basically said, like, essentially, fake it till you make it. And some people had a problem with that, which I understand because, like, no one ever likes the word fake, and, like, the word fake is, like, to be avoided at all costs. But sometimes there's no other way to describe it other than saying fake it till you make it. Because if you act confident, even if you don't entirely feel it in your bones that you are confident, it'll eventually happen. If you fake, you know, positivity in heartbreak, or after heartbreak, I guess, then it'll eventually become a reality, and you will eventually think that way. And I really hope that some of you guys are listening to this and are thinking, oh, okay, you know, the little head nod at the computer screen, like, I can't see you, but I definitely can, girl. I know you are. I know you're head nodding over there in Alabama or Alaska or Australia. Anyway, hope that this video was somewhat helpful. Please go check out the blog article that I was talking about during this video. Go check that out. Please leave a comment below. I'd love to have this be like an open forum conversation where we just talk about this whole subject of, you know, love that just isn't there and what to do with it, instead of being negative and bitter and bitchy. Yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in my next one. Bye!